Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got jobless numbers coming out early this morning, bright and early, better than expected. Also nice for mixed signals for the market. Also good leverage for the Fed to start pumping. We got Stephen King in the house. Good morning, Stephen. We got Kyle. Albert's here. Jay, good morning. Bill. Tanya, good morning. Tony. We got Joe in the house. Patrick in the house. Rick in the house. Marcus in the house. Ooh, we got the crowd starting up. We got the crowd here today, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's actually bring up TradingView. We'll get some of those levels that we need early in the morning. New share, good. BEA, beautiful. All right, so first off, we'll kick off with the SPY. We'll take a look right now on a daily chart. We're still under the 10 EMA. Hourly chart, I believe, with that big bullish run yesterday, to me, we're still technically in that downtrend, right? So we still have that downtrend. We have a almost double bottom, but we kind of have some bear trappage in there as well. And we have a little bit of potential breakout. So right now we are gapping down. I do think this is, at least I'm leaning a little bit more toward the buy the dip scenario today. I think I want to go long. I know that's weird. I think I want to buy things. Maybe I just want to go on a shopping spree. I'm not sure, but we're still gapping down from yesterday, but we are still above a lot of key levels. If we do sell off at open, I'm looking for, first number I'm looking for is about 394.14 on the SPY to get some kind of a bounce, and then 393.44. Could we hit that potentially? We have some resistance now above us at 396.82. Tony says I could buy his Nvidia shares if I'd like to. I don't mind Nvidia, actually. Let's take a, we'll take a look at that one next, actually. Maybe we'll work out a deal there, Tony. Maybe we can work out something. But I think if Nvidia gets down to like 120, it looks attractive, at least for the long term. I don't think we're there yet, Tony. But we have 196.66, and the next resistance up is 397.68. I would like to see us fade in the morning. I would like us to do something like this today. I want this chart to play out something similar to this, and then we get a bounce. I don't know if we get a strong bounce like that. This area right here, just above 400, so somewhere in like the 401 zone, might be a decent spot for that bounce. We will see. As far as resistance for today goes, that would be a very strong spot. If not, the next real resistance comes all the way up there, which is roughly 403.73. That'd also be pushing into that downtrend wall today. So that would be a big one. I don't know if we get there. But at open, I would like to see some kind of just pullback from yesterday's rally, give us an opportunity to buy, and then look to get in to ride things up. So we'll be a little bit patient and open, see if that pullback happens at all, or we just open and scream higher. And we did have Jay says EU raised interest rates 0.75 this morning. Yeah, and I expect the Fed, is it next week? We have CPI, and I was thinking CPI was Wednesday, but I think it might be Tuesday, and maybe the Fed is on Wednesday. I have to double check that. But I expect the Fed to raise 0.75. The jobless claims were actually good today as far as the report goes. which is a little bit more ammo for the Fed to maybe say, look, the economy is great. We could raise it more. And I think that's why we're seeing a little bit of that sell-off. Good news is bad news in a weird way. For the Qs, we're right at, this is the, you can't really see it here. I think we have to go with extended hours, essentially. Was it extended hours? We had that nice hammer. We have this nice little bit of a hammer that came in extended hours. I'm going to label this the Woodshed hammer. This is Woodshed's hammer. He was watching this one yesterday to go bullish. Is this the one? I believe it is. But we have that little bit of a decent looking bear trap hammer. So freaked out the markets a little bit, came right back up. We stayed inside that hammer for a long time, and then we started to, as soon as we started to break, we started to run. So this would be the pullback spot for me. Coming back into a retest of 295.34 on the Qs. See if we can get that bounce at that spot would be tremendous. So if we can get some kind of bounce at all, and then we start running, that would be perfect. 9/13. So what day is 9/13 is CPI? 9/13. Yeah. So Tuesday CPI, and then probably I guess Wednesday is where we get some. We actually do have Jerome Powell today as well. I don't know if Jerome Powell raises rates today. Is today the day he raises rates, or is it just speaking? That I'm not sure, but I think we have Jerome Powell coming in today, which the Fed has been off for a month. So right back at it with Jerome Powell. But we'll see what Jerome Powell says as far as today. 10 a.m. I think is when he talks. And usually if it's a day he raises rates, and I don't think that it is today. Somebody can verify that as well for me, but we definitely have Jerome Powell, so he can move the markets, or out of everybody that talks from the Fed. And again, we watched the Apple conference yesterday. Let's pull up Apple. Somebody said that was leaking a little bit today, and it is. We attempted in a that even hit targets. I still have it there from yesterday. Ugh, gross. We tried twice on Apple yesterday to go bullish. Both times chopped around before bouncing into targets, apparently. But we would have had a nice trade on that one. Regardless, today, yeah, Apple does still look a little weak. The only problem with Apple, and I'm not sure who made a comment in Slack, but only problem with Apple is we do have some kind of support. I think Apple gets a little choppy as we have resistance very close to 154.94. So it looks very weak, but maybe at some type of support, 154.51-ish, probably a little lower than that. We'll go 154.47, somewhere in that. As long as we hold, we do have a little bit of support on Apple, but we do have resistance very close. Probably won't try Apple today. At least not unless we get some kind of a break. Let me just flip right back to Apple real quick, just to see where that 10 EMA is on the hourly. Right now, we are below it as well, so a little bit trapped. We do have that volume coming in toward the end of the day yesterday, so decent volume. Any of the bulls that did buy that are trapped, so I would expect at least a little bit of weakness. And we'll see if that support could hold. If not, probably short is the way to go on Apple out of the gate. Nvidia as well. So we're not seeing the same type of level of volume in a bullish direction, but we are still at least holding above that VPOC from yesterday. So I'm looking for some kind of a bounce at, I would say, roughly 135.48 should hold. If that does not hold, there's no room. There's really no support until we get our last little bit of support at 133.40. past that point, Nvidia does probably continue down relatively hard. Tony, I would probably buy some puts for that Nvidia. Get some protection if you don't already. But then we can start talking. Maybe I might buy those shares about $16 lower. Brian says he is speaking at monetary conference. Okay, so just a speech at the conference. Yeah, I think next week is when the actual Fed meeting is. So I think it's the CPI, and I believe we have the day after is when they look to raise rates again. But so Jerome Powell today, at least, he could still move markets, but I don't think the same context that he would be able to move if it was an actual Fed meeting. Nice run on Pixie. All right, we'll check that one out as well. We have Amazon kind of stuck in the middle. I'd much rather prefer this thing at least come back down to a 127.67-ish. I bought some calls yesterday and ended up selling before the end of the day, so I don't have those calls anymore. I would be looking to rebuy if we start retesting. Chicago Fed president speaks at noon. Probably little impact on the market. I mean, if he comes out completely bear mode, obviously that's going to drop the market. If he comes out completely bull, that will raise the market. But at the same time, Jerome Powell is going to have a little bit more weight in the market. So I don't think we get extreme moves from it, but we could move a little bit. All right, we got 127.55 is where I'm looking for some kind of potential bounce. Right now, inside day, so 10 EMA, can't really use it at open. Don't really want to take a trade at open on Amazon regardless. Would rather we get some kind of a dip than play it. We did look at Nvidia, AMD. AMD looks interesting. I also picked up some AMD for the long term yesterday as well. And this one actually looks a little bit different than Nvidia, looks a little bit different than so far everything we looked at. Doesn't quite qualify by a few pennies. But we actually had some selling into yesterday. Yesterday's rally at the very end of the day, and anybody that did sell or shorted at that point would be trapped. I think that's more selling than shorting at that point. But we'll see what happens on this one. Anything, if we could get this one to qualify somewhere around the $80.26 mark, it has a lot of room at that point to go higher. $82.79. We can make something happen with that. But again, at least out of the gate does not qualify. Not yet. Tony says, were you joking buying puts on Nvidia, or did you mean it? I was hoping we're near the low. No, that would not be a joke. Usually after I tell a joke, I have a drummer behind me. He hits the snare. It's like ching. So that's how you would be able to tell. Yeah, no, I would buy some protection on Nvidia if it drops past out. So if we start breaking down on Nvidia, and we're not there yet, Tony, but if we start breaking, especially this number, which would be 133.42. So you still have some time. Let it play out. Again, we could get some kind of a bounce, which is what I'm thinking happens. I don't want to go complete bear mode yet. I'm still in a bullish mindset, but I think we get something like this today. If this breaks that VPOC, there's not a lot of room. There's almost zero support. And then I would definitely have some kind of put protection on my play. Right now, though, we do have a double bottom. Technically, we have higher highs. Technically, we got a little bear trap, and we still have some VPOCs holding us up. We are slightly below the 10 EMA on an hourly at open. But again, this one, I'd be looking for a quick drop, and then I think this one gets bought up, but I'm not. Only if we start breaking down that last level. I'd be worried. Tesla was very, very strong yesterday. Tesla also, by the way, so when we're looking at VPOCs, when you have two VPOCs going higher, that's a spot to check out, start to really pay attention to. We don't really technically have a trend yet. The third one makes a trend. So with that third one, we now have a trend. We're still actually going stair step to some extent. This is a very key level up here, which is roughly 285.57. We did not hit that yet. 1, 2, 3, 4 big green candles on an hourly. Again, some kind of a dip would be good, and I would definitely be buying Tesla. Had some weird strength yesterday, even when the market was kind of just choppy. So Tesla kind of broke before the rest of the market. I think we covered all the ones. We got Delta. Delta is going to be another inside day. Again, would rather see this one retest 3170 before I look to buy it. I want to see that at least come down a little bit more just for purpose of risk reward. All right, we have, what was it, Pixie? PIXY. Yeah, good little gap up for sure. Might be a little too good, to be honest. Shift Pixie. I have no idea what this company does, but it has a really big gap. Let's flip this one to a daily chart. This one, if it pulls back, I'm watching. I'll be first watching 23.58. So again, it's still $2 to the downside. Should be some kind of a bigger support. I don't know why this one's gapping up. Oh, they did a split. Okay. 1 to 100. That's a big split. Yeah. I don't know what this company does. I've never actually heard of this company. That is a large and in charge gap. A little bit too scary of a gap that I usually trade. You do have some kind of support. The next real target would probably be about $38 if this support holds. Bigger trend line though. A lot of this has just been absolutely getting faded for quite some time. Yeah, it's not. Oh, that's a reverse split, I think. Yeah, reverse splits aren't usually the best sign in the world, typically. Yeah, for a day trade, I'd stay away just because I'm not familiar personally with it. If you are, you do have some room to the upside, which would be about $38. But I want to see about $2 pullback on this one first before we even get to that. Let's see. We got W. W's at a little bit of support. I think on a monthly, I don't think we're quite where I want to buy it yet. Weekly, daily. I guess we're not far off. I was looking for something in like the $30 range. I don't know if we ever got there. $35. Yeah, we were close. And maybe this thing got to like $37, $38, something like that. On Wayfair, pre-markets, flip it back to hourly. We're at a big level of some kind of support. They're trying to save this thing at this level, but that gap today does not look impressive. So no, this looks like a short, especially if we could get some kind of price around $48, about 80 cents higher, that would be the retest. We have some type of remaining support down at 46.37, and then the last one would be 44.11. If that ends up breaking, then maybe my $30 price target is achievable. So we have a double bottom, higher lows. Technically, this is higher lows, but we were gapping below it. Yeah, I'd want to short this one, especially if we get a little bit higher, increase that risk reward. So entry would be somewhere around maybe 48.20. And then for day trade purpose, I'd have a stop somewhere around, probably give yourself $1 stop. BILI. That looks gross. Straight gross. Was that earnings? Yeah, anything China still I'm staying away from at this point. That includes BABA, that includes PDD. That is massive short. You are definitely trapping some people. Undoubtedly. I'm trying to find some kind of support that it could be bouncing off of. Technically, it is a gap and go. Billy, don't jump off the cliff. Targets the downside 1923. This is a massive gap and go. If we could get a green candle out of the gate that we could get a break underneath, we should have good momentum. The only thing, and I would prefer if this thing gets back up to $20.72. Support is not too far away. 1920 is the next target, but we should be trapping anybody that bought in this region. Even this one, we're below we have a little bit of a gap fill. We attempted to fill over there. We're right back into it. So again, we do have a little bit of support not too far away, but that is a good gap and go at least. Definitely want to watch. Would love some kind of a retest higher first. Don't know if we get it. Any new thoughts on Intel? Yeah, I was actually looking at Intel yesterday because the dividend's not bad. I do have some Intel in the long term, which again, I'm not really too worried about. And it was actually a little bit tempting because I'm like, well, at least at this point, if I do average down, I was just like, Intel or AMD, which one do I go with? For me, I ended up choosing AMD because I kind of want to see this next earnings report on Intel, which comes out, looks like September 22nd. Or actually, yeah, was that October 27th. I need their earnings report is the bigger key that I'm like, let's just stay away for at this point. Especially if all chips are kind of weak still. So if AMD today looks a little bit different, but Nvidia is still very much on the weak side. I think if chips are all weak, Intel, I would love to see around the $20 price range. In all honesty, I would love to see it down there. Right now, Intel does have a good dividend. I don't know how safe the dividend is though. I'm not sure with these guys if they're able to. I don't know if I think they're able to pay the dividend. My issue with that is they did increase R&D within Intel. That like being a shareholder. I want to see that because they have to start doing something to compete with AMD and Nvidia. So I think at some point, I don't even think taking the dividend away is a bad thing for Intel at this point. But their earnings report was so bad. I want to see at least minimum one new quarter of earnings just to see maybe there's some kind of fluke or something like that. But they were very, very bad. Extremely bad. They lost a lot of ground. So the dividend is attractive for right now. Also, I want to get my cost price, my dollar cost average down a little bit more. I think Intel long term is fine, but I think these guys might have a little bit more pain before they have some kind of success. Matt R says, I don't think they're going anywhere. Yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere either. They did put in a decent hammer yesterday, but I mean, even pre-market, we're already kind of fading that. So I want to see another quarter. Snapchat too. So Snapchat, and I think Hector had the best response to this. he posted in Slack yesterday. He's like, Snapchat had some kind of weird move. What is happening? They had some kind of leaked memo of how they're going to get to $6 billion of revenue. And then he responded, leaked in quotes. So I can't blame him on that one because that would be a good memo to leak. Was that on purpose? I don't know. But Snapchat, that would be, if they get to 6 billion in revenue, that's about 20% increase of revenue quarter over quarter, which would be astonishing. Which would be very good, very bullish on Snap. I think this one has to pull back first. But I'm also a little bit reminded when those memos leak that they are a company trying to make money. And by leaking a positive memo about how bullish they think they are, seems a little bit set up to me. And also, anytime, like if you guys even watch like Shark Tank, or if you guys dealt with business at all, they come in with their business model. They haven't made a single penny of revenue to date. And they come in with their forecast. The forecast is always outrageous. Like if we do this, then we're going to get $8 trillion. And then we do this, we're going to get another 9 trillion on top of that. And you're like, okay, but that's the forecast. That's not actual dollars and cents. So they haven't done it yet. So I still want to, I'm not going to tackle Snapchat yet or start building. And I'm not throwing Snapchat in the long term. It would be more of a position buy if I do it. I don't want to marry Snapchat. Just want to date it. If I send a Snapchat, it forgets about it right after I open it. So I kind of want to do that with Snapchat as well. So Snapchat would be more position builds, but and then sell at a future date, maybe 6 months to a year, something like that, buy hold. But I don't think we're there yet. So that was a bullish move on Snapchat, throwing out that memo. That would be, if they could achieve it, that's 20% revenue hike. So I kind of like that. But Stephen King says big dump right now. Cindy says they paid dividends for the last 28 years. Yes, that is true, but I think AMD and Nvidia is eating some of that lunch for sure. Bigger at least than I personally thought. YouTube, the bell is rang. Unfortunately, that means I've got to disconnect from YouTube land. You guys are great. Make sure you guys follow us, like us, hit that like, subscribe button on the YouTube channel. And if you guys do want to trade with us each and every day, we are around from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. at night. You literally could give up your entire life, your goals, your dreams, and do nothing but hang out with us. I don't recommend it. That's not a recommendation, but that is very possible if you choose to. Otherwise, YouTube, you guys are incredible. I will catch all of you guys